Thinking of applying for your visa? Should you go for a permanent visa or a temporary one? Coming up. Hi, this is Kai with the Kai One team, helping you better understand everything you need to know about New York City real estate. Today I have the pleasure of introducing you to Steve Maggi from SMA Law Firm, an immigration attorney here in New York City. How are you doing today, Steve?
Great to be here, Kai. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm originally from Argentina. I came here when I was 5, and I had to maneuver the immigration system. It was very complicated for me to become a U.S. citizen.
Okay.
I decided after that to dedicate my life to helping other immigrants go through this system and achieve their unique version of the American dream. We started our firm 15 years ago, and we do all things immigration. Our chief focus is helping foreign entrepreneurs and foreign businesses that want to launch here in the U.S.
I have a lot of clients, both internationally and locally. For the international clients, a lot of them, they're considering getting their visas, but they really don't know where to start. They're looking at so much information out there. Can you share with us a little bit of information about what's the difference between applying for a permanent visa versus a temporary? And what's the benefit or pros and cons of each?
Sure. First of all, it's important to note that there are 38 countries that are part of the visa waiver program.
Okay, wow.
People from those countries, which are the majority of the EU countries, plus a few more, do not have to apply for visas if they want to come here temporarily as a business visitor or for pleasure. So they can come for up to 90 days at a time. Anyone else from non-visa waiver countries has to apply for a visa at a U.S. embassy or consulate.
Got it.
And there's all sorts of different kinds of visas, so it really depends on balancing short-term versus long-term goals. The most common one is the tourist visa, obviously, but then we have a lot of students here. Obviously, you work with students who are investing in properties.
Yes.
And then you have visas for professionals, for entrepreneurs. Those are the temporary visas. They're called non-immigrant visas. So that essentially gives you a specific status in the U.S. to be here, and it gives you the rights and privileges that are commensurate with that specific category. If you're here on a specific visa status, that allows you to then change to a different one. For example, if you have an F1 student visa and you get a job offer, you want to change to a work visa, you can change to a work visa, and that changes your status. But the actual visa is what you need to enter the U.S. So if you've changed status in the U.S. and you leave the U.S., you need to apply for a different visa that allows you to enter with those specific rights and privileges. Those are temporary.
Got it.
Immigrant visas are the ones where you're doing what's called demonstrating immigrant intent. You're trying to become a green card holder. And so a lot of times when we're working with clients, we ask long-term, short-term goals, and we try to balance both, because once you've submitted an immigrant visa petition, it's very difficult to then change visa status, and you have to then think about long-term. That's your long-term commitment. Once you've done that, it's very difficult to change or extend your temporary status.
Got it. Okay, so the first thing is to figure out how long they plan to be here and what their intent is, right? It's to figure out if temporary or permanent is more the way to go. And what I'm hearing from you is, after you've put in the application, you can't really make adjustments to it.
Correct. You're applying, most of the time, for a specific visa at an embassy. Once you're here, then you can apply to change. If you want to become a green card holder, you need a platform for that. So you need an employer sponsor, you need a family sponsor, or you can be self-petitioning if you have extraordinary ability, or if you're investing in what's called the EB-5 program. That's when you can adjust your status to permanent status.
How long does it take to go for whether temporary visa or a permanent visa? How long does the process take?
If you're within the United States and you're applying for what's called a change of status, it will take anywhere from 6 to 9 months to actually change your status. And what's an important thing to underline here is that you always have to make sure that you're maintaining your status when you're applying either for a change of non-immigrant visa status or to a green card. The fact that you've applied doesn't mean that it maintains your status, and that's very important. If you're applying to adjust your status to a green card, you're looking at about a 1-year process to become a green card holder.
Later on, when they move forward and they want to apply for citizenship, how long does that process take?
So generally the rule is 5 years. There are 2 categories where you are first a conditional resident, and you have to do what's called removal of conditions. The first is EB-5, where you get a conditional green card based on investment. You have to show that 10 full-time jobs were created based on your investment in order to remove conditions, and then you qualify for a green card at the 5-year mark. If you marry a U.S. citizen and you've been married less than 2 years before you apply, then you have to remove conditions, and then you're looking at being instantly eligible for citizenship. So at the 3-year mark of being a green card holder, you would apply. Otherwise, the general rule is 5 years as a resident before you can apply for citizenship. And the citizenship applications are taking about a year right now.
Got it. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing all that information.
Sure.
Let's recap really briefly. Temporary versus permanent, we're looking at how long do you plan to stay, what's your intent being in the United States. In terms of how long it takes for applying for temporary and permanent.
Depends on which visa you're applying for.
And the range would be from...
Okay, so let's say you're applying for a tourist visa and you're outside the U.S. It depends on how long the waiting time is for an interview. So probably 2 to 4 weeks to apply.
Okay.
They'll make the decision right then and there. The important thing is to show strong ties to your home country when you apply, because the number one reason for denials of visas, which have gone up under this administration, is the lack of sufficient ties to home country.
Got it.
If you're applying, let's say someone has sponsored you for a work visa, that means there's an approved petition in the United States. Then you can do what's called premium processing. So you pay an extra fee to Immigration Service and you get an answer within 15 days. If you get what's called a request for evidence, then it can take another 45 days or so to get approved. Then you apply for your visa. So somewhere between 15 days and 2 months. If you're applying for a green card from outside the US, it depends what country you're from. And we'll talk about that in some of our other videos, is that there are certain annual caps depending on your country of origin, and that can cause long delays in having those visas available.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Kai.
Thank you for watching. If you're new here, consider subscribing. On this channel, we share with you buying and selling tips, market updates, and neighborhood guides. So if you have any questions from this video, please share it with us in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next video. Talk to you soon. Bye.